Hello. Emilio, how are you?
Here I am. I'm good. Hi, my friend. How did you spend your week?
I spent my week in the usual way, working at the clinic. But on Wednesday, we had a holiday celebration, and this was very nice.
Do you like my new wallpaper?
I like it very much. Wow.
Are you jealous a little bit?
A little bit jealous, yeah. But do you like my very, very theatrical?
Yes.
Not just.
Yeah. Just very black. I mean,
Yeah.
Next week we have to be not so black because it's Christmas time and holidays.
Yes. We will have a special edition of the episodes, right? A special episode.
Don't tell anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
But we will have a special episode next Sunday at 7 o'clock as usually. We will say a few more things, but not yet. For the moment, what do we have today?
Seppi, ciao. Ciao Seppi. Ciao Seppi, come stai? Tutto bene? Bene. But we have also a very nice guest, right?
We have a great guest tonight.
Great guest. But is he joining immediately or not?
Well, in my view, yes. Why not? Yes, because we want to enjoy every second of him.
Yes.
And, if you like Sebastiano, just let him appear on the screen.
Yes. Giuseppe.
Hi. I have receiving the invitation. So you are very black, I'm very white.
Yes.
Like an angel, you know?
Yeah, you are an angel. Giuseppe, but you look to be 10. Did you go to the
Yeah, it's the light, you know. I use these lights, special lights, to promote tanning. Skin cancer guy, you know. No, Actually, it was a wonderful day today in Barcelona. And I had the chance to be running in the mountain. So on Sunday, I tried to have my leisure having sports in nature, you know.
And leisure for Josep, leisure is running in the mountains. This is leisure.
Yeah, so the pleasure, you know, we are very similar, Giuseppe. As you know very well, my pleasure is to stay on a couch for the entire day.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I think that it's fine to have from time to time some different activities because we work too hard, Geppi.
I know. No, but definitely, it's a matter of pleasure. Anyway, should we introduce the topic of the week?
The topic of the week and the paper of the week.
So the topic of the week, and of course also related. The question of the week is related to the topic, which is the following: do you perform digital monitoring of your high-risk patients? So yes, no, or sometimes. As usually, we have a third option, which is always there. So do you use your digital monitoring, Josep?
Yeah, I guess, yes. But here I understand that we need to understand what means high-risk patients. First is to understand the population that can benefit of this. And second is that we need to adapt in any case the strategies to detect early melanomas to our health environment, our chances to do the best for our patients. So I'm living in, in Disneylandia, Disneyland with a big castle in a very sophisticated hospital, high technology hospital where we have everything. I have to say that we are not rich people in Barcelona, but we try to get people and machines and knowledge that bring benefit, I'm pretty convinced, to our patients. So we started with the follow-up of the high-risk patients 20 years ago, when with the old digital machines that were awful, with very bad imaging, actually. But this was useful. And at that time, our experience was that everybody in the hospital and in Barcelona was willing to come to the clinic for digital monitoring. It was a disaster. Yeah. So we had to be very clear in the indications and establish a very clear protocol, and nobody without the criteria for this could enter in the follow-up, because otherwise it's a disaster. And what are high-risk patients for me? This is something that maybe
but we will discuss it we will definitely discuss it in a minute. Maybe Seppi, can you tell us how the 62% said yes, 22 said no, sometimes for 16%.
No, I'm very sad. Sometimes I am always a fan of the answer. Sometimes, I like balanced answers. I always support sometimes, and today we lost. It seems that everybody likes to do digital monitoring of high-risk patients. Yeah. So let's move to the paper.
Yes.
Then we open the discussion.
Yes, exactly. Seppi, maybe you can launch the... Okay, perfetto. Seppi, can you give me the sharing possibility? Because, Josep, if there is one, let's say, of the many topics that you were studying throughout your professional life, is digital monitoring. So we decided to comment one of your papers, which is actually a paper from 2013. And this is not a case. Seppi, can you give me my sharing possibility? Okay, here we are. So I was choosing to discuss quite an old paper of you and Susanna. Yeah. It's 2013, because that's basically the point. As you said, you really started much earlier than all of us in believing in digital monitoring, and especially already at that time you already were using this kind of combination that we use today: total body photography first, and then side-by-side comparison of the individual images. So this was really something that you started much earlier than the rest of us. And nowadays we know that this protocol is very important, but understood this importance much earlier than us. So this is a nice paper that I would recommend, even if it's an old paper, but there is kind of really a good summary of the important things to know in order to perform correct digital monitoring. And Josep, as you said, the most important first point is the correct indication. So now tell us, what are your correct indication? What is the patient that you want to, let's say, spend your time to do all these pictures, total body, and then the individual images? Which one?
Yeah, sure. At the time we published this paper, this is the result of a lot of discussions and working process. Actually, we started in 99, doing this, and everybody in the hospital, in my clinic, were considering that this was crazy. Well, the indications, if we start with the super high-risk patients, in Australia, they published recently also a paper about what they call the super high-risk patients cohort. It means patients with mutations in CDKN2A, with multiple primary melanomas, with familial melanomas, with many atypical lesions. And these people, of course, benefit of this. I have to say that we involved in this monitoring patients with scleroderma pigmentosum. That seems to be crazy. but it's useful. And you can monitor these patients. It has to be different and you need a lot of experience. So super high risk patients, okay? This is for sure one main indication. Then you have people that have these high risk mutations with high risk for new melanomas that don't have many atypical molds. The discussion there is what to do. And we discovered that even in these cases, having support with imaging in every visit is making a difference, because very subtle changes in banal lesions can be melanoma. So we also apply in this population, and we are following a big number of families with mutations in high penetrance risk genes, and we know that they benefit of this. Then you have a number of patients with no melanoma and many ugly lesions, because the concept of this plastic atypical mole is something that we don't solve in the last 20 years. I don't expect to solve this. But what everybody do agree upon is on the ugly mole syndrome. It means that I don't know where's the melanoma in this patient. So in these patients, you reduce the number of excisions that you by chance decide, just by chance, and this is not specific at all, with the monitoring, because you discover those lesions that change. I have to tell you, when we started with this, nobody knew if this could work, because this ugly mole syndrome was supposed to be a patient with many precursors of melanoma. And we discovered that this is not the case. So these are just ugly lesions, most of the cases, okay? But we don't know which one is the melanoma. This is the first concept. So we didn't know if these lesions were changing a lot in 6 months follow-up. And this is not the case, and this is the good news, because if these lesions were changing the same as melanomas very much, then you don't have any clue for detecting melanoma with the digital monitoring. But it's not the case. They are many times very stable lesions over the years. Yeah. And so we discovered that in many ugly lesions on patients with this situation, they benefit at all with this monitoring, because we reduce the number of excisions in the safe side, that we don't miss very ugly melanomas in the end. But this has a cost. Yeah. And the cost is that when you start with a patient with this monitoring, it's not that you can just wait 1-2 years and then it's full stop if they don't have any melanoma. No, you have to keep the monitoring for the rest of their life at the moment we are living. So it's a cost. So if in your unit you can introduce everybody with ugly lesions, and this is something that it's not standardized, ugly lesions. So some people are putting together people with what I don't call ugly lesions for monitoring. And I guess that in these cases, probably the patients don't benefit of this monitoring. So we don't have a standardization for this.
Josep, do you make
and this is a difference?
Do you make a difference in your mind? Is there a different indication for total body clinical photography and a different indication for digital dermoscopy, or the indication goes together?
I guess that, well, I have to tell you the truth. Since we cannot, at the time we published this paper, we thought that we have to stratify the risk of patients and how to monitor the patients without being very strict in how to deal with these very same patients. So we, in our program at that time, and this was the same for the last 15 years, we had the super high risk patients with total body photography and digital monitoring. And this has a limited number of cases, and not everybody in Spain can come to Barcelona to have this monitoring. And then we have people with ugly lesions that don't need to have everything at the same time. But today this is changing. So we are in the new time where technologies are faster, and we are changing this protocol because it's faster and easier to detect these changing lesions with the total body photography.
Maybe let me summarize a little bit. So basically, we need really to, since we have to dedicate 30, 40 minutes to one patient, we need to select the right patient to do this job. And the right patient is definitely this super high risk, which means mutations, declared mutations, discovered mutations. And this is one point. Second point, more than 40, 50, 60 ugly looking nevi clinically. That's the most important indications. Of course, if there is the presence of many ugly moles plus something like familiar melanoma, personal history of melanoma, fair skin, red skin, especially red hair, especially, or organ transplantation, this is even more important to perform.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is the indication. Now, do you perform total body photography alone for patients with a personal history of melanoma, but without many moles? Because probably this was the question by...
Yes, we do perform this because now we have total body photography that it's taking 1 second. Because we recently had a change in our technology. It's not anymore that we need to take a number of pictures with the camera. That, by the way, we hired radiology technicians 10 years ago because this is very much more efficient. So doctors need to do the assessment of the final procedure with the patient. And yes, we are changing very fast to total body photography with the support of a limited number of dermoscopic pictures now.
Yeah. So basically, these are the three scenarios. People with mutation, people with many ugly moles, and people with previous history of melanoma, who can benefit from a total body photography. And that's basically what we do today, right? So we first check analogically our patients. So don't ever forget that the patient should be laying on a bed and you have to screen your patient with your handheld dermatoscope. This is extremely important because the diagnosis is made on the handheld analogic dermatoscope, which is an optical, let's say, quality, and therefore anyhow much better than the digital quality. Then secondly, we do total body photography. The patient is staying there with fixed positions and so on. And then third, we do a digital acquisition of 1 to 15 of his lesion or her lesion, depending on the situation. This is what we do now, and I suppose we more or less do the same stuff nowadays.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But the question is what we will do tomorrow. And in my estimation, we will do this. We will do total body dermoscopy. Because this is already there. What we will do is a kind of polarized total body photography, and that's it. We will stop doing the images of the individual lesions because nowadays we have this beautiful total body photography possibility, which give us the possibility to compare so in various time frames what's going on. Then AI, artificial intelligence, will more and more support us in selecting an eventual lesion which is either new or changing as compared to the previous image. For example, here there is clear-cut a changing mole here, right? And the system was able to catch it. And then finally, we will be able to zoom in the individual lesions and to look at the morphology which can be seen dermoscopically.
Absolutely.
In one shot or in multiple clinical shots, we will be able to do a kind of total body dermoscopy. Now I have another question to you. And because to ask you this question, I show you first a case. This is a 24-year-old girl, and there is here a lesion which, in my view, I think you agree with me that this is a lesion should be removed, right? And yes, definitely this was a melanoma. So no question, morphologically, this is clear cut. But this is the second visit. At the baseline visit, this lesion was not excised. So we did a digital monitoring, and after a few months, we decided to remove it. And this is among the melanomas that nowadays we are catching on clinical photographs, on total body photographs. We don't need anymore the side-by-side comparison, because look at this lesion. It's definitely changing. And this is also very nice. Look at the change. At the baseline visit, there was a dark part on the left, and at the follow-up image, it's the opposite. Look, this is impressive. Mm-hmm. So we are discovering things. Total body photography.
Geppi, yes, but we need to understand that in this case it's very clear. But look at the other image that is down, the big lesion. It seems also to change. The colors. Have you seen this? So the question is now, and how do we need to work for the future total body dermoscopy to be reliable 100% or even better than what we have today? It's very clear that this is a change that we are experiencing, and we are working in having the best quality of the pictures that will allow you not only to detect this melanoma, beautiful case, but also lesions that today cannot be identified with the total body photography with this resolution that we have in the commercial devices, that are pink lesions with subtle features that we detected because of this dermoscopic monitoring. So we are trying to provide, together with you and many others, the knowledge how to introduce in the practice this new total body photography with polarized light, and understanding the limitations for the detection of changes that we had with the digital dermoscopy. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's pseudo dermoscopy with the polarized light, but we cannot identify pink lesions. BCC is impossible, you know.
Yeah.
And this is worrisome because you don't see vessels, you don't see this.
Josep, what is your perception? Nowadays, the majority of the melanomas you are catching over follow-up are still catched by the side-by-side dermoscopic comparison, or a good proportion of these cases are catched by the clinical photographs? What is the proportion?
Well, 40% of the melanomas we catched with the old machines were with total body photography.
Okay.
New lesions or lesions that were not suspicious at the time of the digital dermoscopic acquisition that we detected with the total body photography, and we published this. And this was with the old machine that was not very good in quality for the total body photography. Yeah. This means that we will probably have the opposite. So 80% of the melanomas catched by total body photography with this resolution, but we don't know. And it's important to also to be very clear in what you mentioned, Geppi, is that we have to look the patient at the bedside, because the melanomas down there in the special sites or in anatomic sites that you don't catch properly with these images can be misdiagnosed. Of course.
There is a good question. There is a good question. Patients with multiple non-melanoma skin cancers, are they candidates for digital monitoring?
Yes, we do it.
Independently from the NIVI?
Well, the problem is that there with your dermatoscope, you are very good at doing this. This is my impression. And in case that these patients, and this is the situation I have multiple carcinomas, Many times this is in the face, where you need to be very good at doing this diagnosis. And with total body photography, this is insufficient resolution at the moment. So you need any way to have dermoscopy. And this means that we don't do this by digital monitoring using dermoscopy. We have the diagnosis with the analogic.
So probably it's more wise to say that for this kind of patients with multiple non-melanoma skin cancer, still a good clinical examination is enough.
Otherwise, in some of these very difficult patients on the face with multiple surgeries, with treatments that were not surgical, etc., I take very good quality images of this anatomic size to monitor changes and to have the reference for the follow-up visits. Otherwise, I'm lost. I don't know if this is a scar or it's an infiltrated BCC, because I don't know if that was before the same or not. So changes in these situations are also very important. But it's not just by digital dermoscopic in my experience. In the future, we will have, and probably this will be in the next 5 years or 10 years, easier to use, cheaper machines with total body dermoscopy, because this is moving fast. At the moment, this is pseudodermoscopy, but you can imagine a situation where you can have in front of you an avatar with all the dimensions of the patients with the previous follow-up, the same that if you have the patient in front of you. This will be possible. But yes, I take pictures in every case, in non-melanoma patients, in every case of everything that I take biopsies, because I need documentation of what I'm doing. With total body photography, when I need to understand where was the lesion. In 2 months or in 3 months, I received a report, and maybe in somewhere, I don't remember where was the tumor. So we need to take pictures.
Josep, another question is, what is the best delay to do monitoring with total body photography? Every 6 months? What is your protocol?
Yes, this is again a discussion, because
say what you do. Say what you do. Say what you do. Hello?
But we have in general for these patients that have very difficult lesions, a limited number. Of course, we schedule for them a short-term follow-up. So in this situation, we have 3 months, 2 months, just to see if everything is the same. And this is in most of the cases in patients at the first visit. But yes, and we have XP patients or patients with super high risk and many ugly lesions. Sometimes we have 3 appointments per year, but in general, it's 6 months.
Okay. Nice. Emilio, do you have questions for Josep?
I think that you have something more to show or not?
No. I finished because I wanted to keep it short in order to give Josep the possibility to answer the questions.
Great. So most of my questions were already replied. So I think a very important point that you both raised is that we have to get used to the idea of separating in our mind total body photography from digital dermoscopy. And in my view, as we are going to understand it more and more, then the indication for total body photography will be broader. So we will involve in the procedure of total body photography even categories of patients that we did not consider ever for digital monitoring, such as the example you gave, Geppi, because in my view, a patient with multiple non-melanoma skin cancers, most of them obviously will be on the face, but some of them might be on the trunk. Why not? A total body photography would be absolutely meaningful, and why not helpful to uncover a new lesion and support our routine. Of course, digital dermoscopy of every single mole is a much more demanding in time procedure, which is not indicated in such a patient with multiple non-melanoma skin cancers. So I think that we see the future in a similar way, more or less, with a higher role for total body photography with better technology, standardized photographs, AI support, and a more limited role for digital dermoscopy. But of course, always there will be a role for digital dermoscopy, but less important.
And facial lesions is one of the cases where I love to have very good quality pictures of subtle lesions. But the question is for the future is also if we will be able to better stratify the risk of our patients, because I have in digital follow-up patients with ugly lesions for 20 years with no melanoma.
Yeah.
So maybe, and this is based in phenotypical concepts. So the new dimension of this is that we are what it's called the deep phenotyping. Yeah? I'm saying this word because it's very sexy, but it's true. Deep phenotyping in medicine is that we need to use what we have, in some cases, a limited number of data of the patient, but in other cases, we have genetics, we have backgrounds, we have clinical data, we have medications, we have sun exposure, we have sun damage. And this is now what we have in our clinic. We decide this is a patient with more risk or less risk, but we don't have a real stratification of risk. My vision is that in the future, we will be able to integrate in this sort of big data what we call deep imaging. Deep imaging means total body dermoscopy. And guys, it's not only to see better the lesions, it's to understand the phenotype of the patient, the capability of the skin to recover the sun damage, chronic sun damage. You can measure this with deep imaging, with good quality images, the number of freckles, so the skin type, not anymore Fitzpatrick, okay? Deep imaging, there you will have all this information. And with this and dermoscopic pictures, understanding the phenotype of the whole number of lesions of the patient, how many are reticulated, how many are globular, how many are multi-component in this patient. This together with the clinical information we have, and maybe in the future, genetics will give you this risk score in practice, because otherwise we are putting together everybody.
There is another question, a much more practical question. Does everyone healthcare system pay for total body photography? Do you charge patients directly? I can tell you the situation is very variable. In each country, there is a different situation. Even in the same country, there is a different situation. For example, in Naples, where I work, there is no specific charge in the public healthcare system for digital monitoring. So they pay the same amount of money as they pay for a regular consultation. But, for example, in the north of Italy, there is a special price, which is the double, more or less, as compared to the regular consultation. But of course, privately, it's another story. You have to dedicate half an hour or 45 minutes to these patients, and of course, you charge them directly. Okay, I suppose we did a very nice, let's say, update, and we will see this kind of concept of deep phenotyping if it will be also invading our private practice, our public practices, as I suppose, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. What I think is that we need to be very clear in that healthcare, it's not infinite. So the cost of healthcare will be not increasing every year absolutely not. So the panoramic is very pessimistic in this meaning. So not more budgets in public health for dermatology in the next years at all. And so we need to be more efficient. So So I always say is, okay, but if you prove that you are cost efficient, so 30 minutes seems a lot, but if you have to remove 5 lesions that were not needed in your patients, the cost is much superior in my country for this procedure in public health. So, and cost efficiency, it's something that you have to do in every case, in every country. But in my case, we are pretty convinced that being more efficient with the proper indications of this and reducing the number of stupid biopsies in our patients is cost efficient. So we need to run and to work in this direction to prove the benefit of what we are doing. Otherwise, our responsibility, it's not in balance with what we want or what it's recommended.
Very good, very good. Emilio, we are ready for the last couple of questions for Josep.
Yeah, but very quickly, there is another question in the chat to Geppi, but okay, even Josep can answer. Follow up with digital photography can be different by patient age. I mean, obviously, I guess the indication and the frequency of visit, does it differ for you according to the age of the patient?
For me, no, not really. Not really. More or less, we follow the same protocol, which, as Josep was mentioning, is a little bit shorter at the beginning, and then once we have proven that there is not too much changes in the nevi of this subject, then we do on a regular basis every 6 months or every 12 months, depending on the single or individual situation.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, last 2 questions for Josep. First, do you know what are you going to do next Sunday at 7 o'clock? Josep,
he doesn't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
He knows it.
Yes, I know.
You know. Okay.
On Sunday, yes.
Good.
I will be playing tennis.
So just keep this hour free also next Sunday, and we will say more.
We will be together. Yes,
And
wonderful.
the last question.
The last question is Josep. You have to tell us in 1 second what is your preferred wine.
Oh, I love Catalan Cava, Brut Nature. So, but we have the best wines in the world in Catalonia.
No, I agree.
When you speak about, this is very nice, because when you speak about football and when you speak about wine, we all become very territorial, right?
Just to make jealous the others, because obviously there is the best wine in the world.
Yeah. Of course, there are comments in the chat saying that in Argentina we have the best wine. That's also a very good point.
This is also very, very true. Very true. Yeah.
Also very true.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Last thing, before we let Josep go, just for very shortly, every week we also show and remind to our participants the podcasts of the International Dermoscopy Society, which are available on our website, just reminding one of them and selecting one which is provided by our guest. So this week we would like to remind this one, which was done by you, Josep, I don't remember how long ago, on unexpected dermatoscopic findings. It's great cases in the podcast. I don't know if you remember, because it was some time ago, but I recommend to everybody to watch this podcast. There are extraordinary cases, and also, of course, to watch the other podcasts available on the website of the International Dermoscopy Society. Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josep, very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
For us.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Great pleasure and enjoy, and see you very, very soon again.
See you next Sunday. Josep,
yes,
take care.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Aimilios. So I know that you prepared a kind of special a special part of the episode, right?
I did, and I had a lot of work to do, let me tell you, because so now for the next, 15 minutes, we will just show some of the cases that you sent us, and we thank you very much for this. Last week, we did not show cases, so that's why we had a really big number to work on. So I selected a good number of them. I will share my screen now, and you will see the ones that I selected. So there we go. We start directly because we have quite a lot to show, starting with Marisa Pratico. You have to apologize me if I make some mistakes with the name spelling, okay? But I think that this one, I spelled it correctly, Marisa Pratico. So Marisa sent us the following case. Can I ask you a consultation for this case? 30-year-old patient with pigmented lesion localized at the level of large right lip, dating back about 6 years. In a previous visit, the lesion was marked by the dermatologist who booked the patient for excision, but the pandemic blocked everything. We discussed about this problem in one of the previous episodes about the effect of the pandemic. So a week ago, I visited the patient, and that's what I saw. Yeah, and I think that morphology is quite evident, don't you think, Geppi?
Yeah, clear cut.
The difference also between non-polarized light on the left-hand side, where the blue-white veil is very well seen. In contrast, when you switch to polarization, the blue-white veil turns into blue color with white shiny lines, white shiny streaks.
Yeah. And as Zoe is saying in the chat, this is very worrisome when you see gray and blue and white color in the mucosal area.
Yeah. So definitely suspicious lesion.
Suspicious. Yeah.
Very good. Cristina Stanescu, female, 38 years, melanoma, 0.35 years ago. The lesion is in the genital area. She can't say if it's new. It was seen by a gynecologist. She was seen by another doctor, and follow-up was recommended. I sent attached the dermoscopy. The left is July, the right is October. Quite a challenging lesion in my view. Because here we don't see the colors that Zoe mentioned earlier. So we don't see a lot of gray, blue, or white. The colors we see are brown and black.
And especially at the periphery, you can see some kind of ring-like pattern. The lesion is very small. The size matters. And
but however, it grew a little bit in a short period of time. But I think, as Geppi says, I think it's not clear in the image that here, where I'm pointing out now with my arrowhead, there is a pattern of circles, and the pattern of circles is quite strongly suggestive of melanosis. So what would we suggest here, Geppi? Maybe to continue follow up a little bit more?
Clear. Yeah.
But with an optimistic, let's say, feeling.
Yes, definitely optimistic.
Okay, great. Still from the same colleague, female, 46, lesion on the lumbar right, biopsy, compound nevus with minimal atypia. Okay? This is already biopsied. Okay. And it's this one. Yeah.
Go back for a moment. 46, lumbar right.
Yeah.
Compound nevus. Well, the only alternative to melanoma is congenital nevus.
Yeah.
Which could be the case here, but definitely.
I would say that the dermatoscopic atypia is so evident. I mean, irregular blotch, irregular globules, that maybe I would, if I was in this position, I would search I would look for a second
opinion or with the pathologist to try to speak about a clinical pathologic correlation, why there is this hyperpigmentation on one side and so on.
And also to make sure that the sectioning was correct.
Yes.
There was no kind
the possibility of a congenital nevus could be, right? Because if there are milia-like cysts in the center, so it could be.
Yeah. Okay, next, female 47, left leg, biopsy malignant melanoma. This is just to share it with us, and we thank you very much for this, Christina. So that's clinical and dermoscopy. Although the image is not very well focused, still we can see definitely criteria suggestive of melanoma. So no problem here from a diagnostic perspective. Thanks for sharing this nice case. By the way, I don't know if this area in the center corresponds to fibrosis, to regression. Could be, yeah. But in any case, the lesion is very suspicious. Then we move to Shanik Karapetian. Hope I was correct. Thank you so much for discussing my cases. It was a colleague that sent a wrong image last week. So now he sent the correct image. Here, the differential diagnosis is between lentigo maligna and actinic keratosis, but I cannot clarify. As for me, the follicular openings are not wide, no scales, no erythema, and it looks like some ungulated lines. I would say that I can only agree with this description. I don't know, Geppi, if you see anything that can convince you enough that this is an actinic keratosis or a solar lentigo.
No, it's definitely not an easy one. The follicles are quite visible, even if they are not enlarged, but quite visible. But this is one of the cases in which a follow-up is strongly needed. Just avoid making a cryo or whatever, and just wait a little bit.
Nothing bad can happen, even if it is a lentigo maligna. Nothing bad can happen, provided, of course, that the patient will not be lost for years. Yes. So yeah, I would say conservative concern would be here. Concerning a little bit, but no need to overreact. No need
or like the half empty or half full glass. Let's say conservative optimism.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Lizeth A. I don't think that this is the correct name, but that's what I could find from the email. Hi, Dr. Anzeziano, Mexico, dermatology resident. I saw this case at my hospital. I would like to hear your opinion. Thank you. I love your program. We thank you very much. So history of astrocytoma in childhood, and then afterwards, he was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma 20 years ago, received 22 sessions of radiotherapy, and now, so it's a long story, and now the patient presents with a huge ulcer of 15 centimeters, but also some foci that are clear-cut basal cell carcinoma foci. And this is the image. You see the very large ulceration here, and indeed, there are clear-cut areas that correspond, as we can see in this image, to basal cell carcinoma. So the question here is if everything corresponds to the basal cell carcinoma, or if this ulcerated area in the center can be attributed to the previous radiotherapy, to the multiple radiotherapies. And it's not easy to answer this question, but I would say that at first sight, I would think that everything is a tumor. This should be the first clinical idea. What do you think, Jeppi?
let's say it's very hard to say, because also a very strong radiotherapy can produce these kind of things. So the only choice here is to perform multiple biopsies in the lesion, because why not starting the treatment with vismodegib or sonidegib?
Exactly, vismodegib, I would say, or sonidegib, because anyhow, if you see how many foci of basal cell carcinoma there are, how are you going to treat it? In any case,
this could be a good option, because it's even clarifying what is the disease and what is the chronic radiodermitis.
Exactly. So thank you very much for this interesting case. Then Antonella Bergamo.
Antonella.
Buongiorno, grazie. I send the case. Look if it can be interesting. Thank you, Antonella, very much. Lady, 38, more than 100 nevi, atypical nevus of the right leg. Follow up. This is the baseline image, clinical, close up, and dermoscopy. For sure, it's atypical. Fully agree that it's atypical. And then there is also the follow-up 3 months later, just 3 months later. So that's quite a change in 3 months. So any doubts that it's a suspicious lesion?
No question.
The problem is that it was excised, and the histopathologic report said that it's a junctional nevus with melanophages.
Go back. The age of the patient was 40, about 40.
Young, 38. Yeah.
It's a leg. When I see a lesion on the leg, I'm always quite suspicious, especially if it's a female patient. But this is one of these cases. You will never have a different solution here. So the most important thing is to have excised completely the lesion, because even if it's a melanoma, it's a very superficial one.
Yeah, but for me, it's tough to get convinced that this is a junctional nevus that changed in this way, and that we can attribute all this change just to melanophages and to a regression process, a benign regression process in a nevus. It's very hard to get convinced about it. Okay, good. Gary, our friend Gary, sends a quite challenging case also this time, I would say. So 72 years old male, severe sun exposure, lesion on his upper back noticed by his wife sign. Wife sign. Histology not yet available, but that's the lesion clinically, that's the lesion dermatoscopically. I fully understand why the wife was concerned, but I don't know why. I have a positive feeling for this lesion. Of course, lentiginous melanoma is the one idea, and very reasonable idea. But I think that I see quite strong criteria of solar lendigo in several parts of this lesion. So something like fingerprinting, parallel brown lines. Yeah.
It's really worrisome is this point up left, black, there is a black color in the center, a little bit of blue at the periphery, but bottom right, it could be comedolike openings, right?
Here,
it could be.
And here it looks like clear-cut parallel brown curved lines, so clear-cut fingerprints. But in the upper part, there are also some small brown globules, which is not so nice for a solar lendigo. So I agree with the wife's suggestion to to be careful with this lesion. Let us know, Gary, because it's a really challenging one, a really interesting one. Let us know if you have your result. So if it's a lentiginous melanoma or a solar lendigo, that's the differential. Very good. Verce, a nice case also. 2 nice cases from Verce, very didactic, very educational ones. 2 of the most difficult melanomas that she came across. Both of them firstly diagnosed as benign lesions and then with dermoscopy diagnosed correctly. And some very nice words by Verce. Thank you, Verce, very much. Long live dermoscopy, fully agree. So case 1, 44 female, shiny papular lesion on the upper arm of recent onset, schizoid melanoma 1 millimeter in breast lobe thickness. That's the lesion here clinically, close up, and dermatoscopically. Really tough, really tough.
Very nice, very nice. Blue and black.
Yeah.
The BB rule.
BB rule. Blue and black, yeah. And white, of course. So schizoid melanoma, really tough one. And the next one, even more interesting, nodular firm lesion located on the upper arm in a 37-year-old female. And it was a nodular melanoma 1.4, which is quite scary, I would say. Look at clinically and dermatoscopically. So it's really, really scary. But there is something optimistic. There is something optimistic in Verce's case. It's in the next image. You can guess, Geppi, what I'm going to show. I'm going to show polarized dermoscopy now.
Okay.
And
wow.
You see?
Situation changed dramatically. Wow. In the first, you can be really thinking about kind of dermal nevus in the center, compound of the periphery, and this kind of these nevoid melanomas can do like this. But in polarized light, I mean, the fact that there are these white shiny streaks is very important because usually they are absent in dermal nevi. This is a very important differential, you know?
Yeah. Thank you, Verce, very much for this case. This
is an exceptional case.
Exceptional case. Thanks a lot. Great. Hadaf Hassan, 52-year-old, pruritic lesion on the scalp, 8 months duration. Clinical diagnosis. Geppi, can you say clinical diagnosis here?
No way.
No way. Dermoscopy, however, reveals blood, hemorrhage, trauma, and also these hairs, which are the trichoptelosis, so the destroyed hairs because of mechanical trauma. And in fact, this was a case of
neurodermatitis, lichen simplex. Emilio? We lost Emilio. Sebi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe Emilio's connection is not very good at the moment. So let's see if he can recover, because I don't have his cases. Oh, Emilio, are you there?
I'm back.
Okay, nice.
Sorry, but it was the connection. I mean, okay, so that was, sorry, I didn't share the screen. I have to share it again. That was the case from Hadaf, neurodermatitis. So the hairs were destroyed because of mechanical trauma. Very nice. Maria Eugenia Moreno Aguilar.
Very good.
You see? Hello from Mexico. Just want to say that I really enjoy the happy hour. Thank you very much. The most important thing is a way of learning dermoscopy. It was just a comment for us. Chris Lowings, again, just a comment for us. Chris, you remember Chris?
Of course.
So the streams in Australia are tough to be watched live because it's 2-3 in the morning. But in the YouTube channel, they are available and you can watch them afterwards. Thank you very much, Chris, for your message. Elisa Zavataro. Okay, Geppi, help us here. You can do it much faster than me.
Okay. Dear Emilio and Giuseppe, this is a case I saw recently. It's a female with immune depression for a transplant organ, with a lot of nevi over the body. Very ugly from a dermoscopic point of view. The problem, in my view, is the management of these patients, complex patients, namely how to identify the ugly duckling mole if dermoscopy is only showing polymorphic patterns and so on. Obviously, this is a case which is underlying the problem we have with this kind of patients.
Exactly, I mean, saying that you find the ugly duckling is easy to say, but to find it sometimes it's not easy at all, because everything is so ugly that you cannot decide.
But the rule is when you see so many ugly lesions, it means that there is no melanoma.
It means that they are a company of friends, and you don't need to disturb the company. Let the company of friends. So, I mean.
So, for example, in a situation like this, the most wise decision is to follow up after 3 months. So do a short-term follow-up in order to check if there is one of these lesions changing in the short term. And then if there is nothing changing in the short term, then you can go every 6 months or every 12 months. In a particular case like this, I would say 6 months, because these are very ugly.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Great. So thank you very much, Elisa, for this. Anna Maria Calistru, dermatologist working in Romania. Watch the Dermoscopy Happy Hour. Thank you very much. Opinion 27, female. Thinks to have this lesion since about the age of 10. She thinks that it's changing, growing, and so on and so on. I proposed excision, but she is reluctant. What's your advice, excision or follow-up? That's the clinical. This is dermoscopy. Okay, I would say that is it compatible with a congenital nevus? That's the main question in my view. To my eyes, it is compatible with.
Definitely, it could be a congenital nevus. So why not giving her a kind of second chance, after follow up? Yeah. Great.
Then Pascal. Very nice panel that she sent us. Just for fun, tell me which one is your favorite. Thank you for
Penelope.
Penelope. Pascal is Penelope. We thank you very much, Pascal, for your comments and for being with us every week. And we also thank you very much for what you sent us. I mean, it's wonderful. This is art. This is artistic.
This is wonderful.
Seborrheic keratosis series, like an egg, like leap-like, elephant-like, snake-like, rabbit-like, tick-like, pastry-like, herd-like. It's so nice. You have to select one, Jeppi. Which one do you like?
I love the exclamation mark. This is magic.
Exclamation mark is magic. But so you select this one. I select the lips. Look at the lips. I mean, come on. They are so nice.
The lips is over there. Yeah. The lips is also nice. Yeah.
Great. Pascal, thank you very, very much. Anna Maria, we are approaching the end. Anna Maria Zainea, patient with a fast-growing tumor on the right arm, took a biopsy, melanoma, P2A, thickness 1.7. Yeah. Another very, very interesting case. Jeppi, take a look. Really featureless from a dermatoscopic point of view. You can see nothing, just a light brown coloration.
This is one of the best cases underlying, again, always the same concept. When you have a nodular lesion which is showing nothing, so nothing not only in the direction of a malignant tumor, but also in the direction of a benign tumor. This is enough to make a biopsy, as she correctly did.
Maybe again a few shiny streaks. Also here that could be a helpful sign. Okay, guys, thank you so very much for sending us all these cases. Please continue to do so. That's great that we can show some of your cases live. Please excuse us for the ones that we don't have time to show. And now we are already late, but who cares, even if we are late?
Emilio, don't you think that we can, but next week we will not do the Kahoot?
Of course we will do the Kahoot.
We will do the Kahoot next week?
Of course.
So then let's do a Christmas edition of Kahoot, double Kahoot.
You mean that we don't do it today?
Well, yeah, because now maybe many of our guests need to go for dinner, other things.
Yeah, okay. Although I can see that everybody is still here, but yeah, okay. Let's do a double Kahoot. You see, people are saying Kahoot. Come on.
Okay, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it, of course. Yeah, very nice.
Okay, so let's do it right away. Let's play our Kahoot. Let's do it fast. Unless my internet does not allow me, so then we will do it next week anyhow. So let's give very few seconds. If it goes okay, if it doesn't go, then we do it next week. Last shot. So while waiting, is there anything that we would like to say about the episode of next Sunday, or just that we will...
No. Let's announce it. In my view, because
Please do it.
Yeah, very special episode, putting together all our previous guests. So everybody will be with us. 12 people or 11, I don't remember, including Iris, Caterina, Giovanni, Michela, Susanna, Josep, everybody. And it will be nice because each of them will be commenting shortly, of course, one of the papers of another one of the guests. And this will be nice.
The concept is your paper I like most.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, I will also show your paper that I like most.
And I will show your paper I like most.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
You see, you wanted to cancel the Kahoot. Look, everybody was waiting.
Look, how many? Wow, look at this.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice tradition. I mean, it's 10, 11 weeks now that we need our Kahoot, our 5-7 minutes of playing,
Sure.
Yeah. And since we like playing, we may say what's going on with another very nice game that we love very much, which is Dermoscopy.
Yes.
In which there are again new levels coming. In fact, the first one is already out, and people can play already in level 15 of Dermoscopy. We will say much more next week. But
definitely we need to promote a little bit this application, which was now relaunched in some way.
Exactly.
Our group, together with a couple of new friends.
Fresh blood,
yeah.
Okay, so in my view, we go. Since we're a little bit late, we have to be faster than usually. 3, 2, 1. One case each day. Monday case. Okay? Take a careful look on the Monday case. And Geppi, you have your diagnosis?
I have mine, yeah.
Don't say it.
No.
Please don't say it. So, nevus, melanoma, solar indigo, dermatofibroma. I guess that you voted for dermatofibroma.
Definitely.
Why not? Yeah. Network at the periphery and white in the center.
Exactly. You know, the point here, in my view, is the point, in my view, in this case, is the shape of the lesion. The shape of this lesion, which is not compatible with a benign lesion, in my view.
The shape of the lesion. Yeah. Sometimes also the shape is important. Yeah. It's a tough melanoma, of course, and of course a melanoma in situ, definitely. And the clues are mainly in the central part of the lesion, and especially in this part that I'm showing now. I don't know if you can see my mouse, in which we can see some irregular hyperpigmentation and a few dots, a few irregularly distributed brown dots. But the shape is a very good also additional criterion that we don't mention so frequently as we should. So let's see. We have Evelyn, 92, leading the team, and we go to Tuesday case. This is the case. Then here comes the question, and I don't give you any other information. For example, which is the age, because in my opinion, it doesn't matter.
We don't care.
We don't care. Yeah, we don't care. Nevus or melanoma. That's
go.
2, 1. Yes. Geppi, what is a lesion with peripheral globules?
It's just a nevus, growing
nevus. Great. Excellent. Evelyn remains on the top. Let's go to Wednesday. Wednesday is so nice. Look at it. It's also some kind of artistic, in some way. Okay. Let's take a look.
And very...
Nevus, melanoma, solar lentigo, or basal cell carcinoma.
Not an easy one.
It's not an easy one, you think, huh?
No.
I trust our audience. Yes.
Basal cell carcinoma.
Basal cell carcinoma. Very, very good. Very good. BF is leading now. Okay, Penelope is here.
Penelope.
Very good. Let's go to Thursday. Thursday is a little bit, tricky case. Yeah. It's a traumatized something.
Yes.
So traumatized nevus, traumatized melanoma, traumatized seborrheic keratosis, or traumatized dermatofibroma. I was a little bit bad, a little bit mean.
Yes, in my view, these cases are not so easy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but this is a traumatized something. Dermatofibroma, look at this.
Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. Penelope, come on. Okay, let's see. We have the last case, Friday case, which is this one. Okay. And now I don't know if you can guess the question which is coming. The question is, what kind of nevus do you see here? That's the question.
Yeah.
And the answer are 50-50, congenital or acquired.
Definitely it's not a blue nevus, right?
Yeah, it's not a Spitz nevus either.
Not a Spitz nevus. No.
Yeah. I think that this is feasible.
Feasible.
Very good.
Congenital. Nice.
Congenital.
Nice.
Perifollicular hypopigmentation, and then these small dots, which are located on the lines of the network. So both of them are criteria of congenital nevi. Very good. So that's it. Let's go to the podium. 3. Victor. Bravo, Victor. Place number 2, JB,
and first.
And Penelope. Okay, great.
So we have to include Penelope in the team, right? So
of course. Penelope, although we are late, please show up so that we say good night all together. So now that we know anyhow that you are Pascal, if you like, and if you are obviously still with us because you were playing the game. If you like, just join for a moment to say goodbye. Until you join, Geppi, what else do we have to say?
Remember next Sunday, great episode. And what else? YouTube channel, yeah.
All the episodes are there. Also, the one of today will be is already available on our YouTube channel, and all the previous episode. What else?
That's it.
Next Sunday, also, let me say something more. Next Sunday on 12 o'clock, we will have a Facebook Live session in which we will share all together live in real time the transition of the International Dermoscopy Society website from the old one to the new one. It will happen. It will happen next Sunday, 12 o'clock Central European time, and we will have a Facebook Live session to celebrate this important moment for the society.
Very nice, very nice. So we will see the transition from this to that, and it's like a new dress. Very good.
So, Pascal, are you here?
Oui, je suis là. Vous m'entendez?
Penelope, ciao.
Do you hear me?
Yes, Pascal, we can hear you.
Very proud to win this time because I wanted it from the beginning. So it was a great challenge, but I'm very happy.
Very good job. Very nice job.
You are very nice, both of you, and I'm very happy to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Where do you live?
I live in the south of France, near Montpellier.
Okay.
So
great.
And
great. Very nice area. Thank you for joining, Pascal.
Thank you very much for you. Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Many congratulations. Thank you very much. Ok.
Bene, ragazzi.
Thank you all.
Un bacione.
See you next Sunday.
Ciao Emilio, I will miss you. Ciao Sebbi.
Ciao Geppi. Ciao Sebastiano.
Ciao.